Hi, friends and clients. Today I'm going to tell you about a better, more effective, much more result oriented method than using pamphlets as marketing. So, what I'm suggesting is not to use pamphlets for the marketing because the so-called era of the printed pamphlet have become dead. Most people do not even read those pamphlets, and we think that it's the easiest way that we have the pamphlets and flyers and send it to any and everyone going on the road shop, and our neighbors and friends and people will come walking inside a customer. This is a flop strategy. This used to work 20 years back before this internet social media era was, but today we have much more effective and result oriented strategy, which I'm going to tell you right now. So let's dive in. uh, Go to the nearest shop and buy a lot of chocolates, toffees. In India, if you are in India, you can have a jar full of eclairs or small dairy milk, 5 rupees dairy milk, 2 rupees shots of chocolates, or you can buy cookies, whatever this biscuits, cookie biscuits that you have, whatever be the case. So have a box, have a jar which is full of these eclair type chocolates, small chocolates, toffees, or the cookies. Buy that, okay, from the neighborhood. Now what you have to do is your neighbor shop. So let's say you're inside a building complex, a shopping complex. You have a small office, restaurant, hotel. Let's say you have you started with you are starting new, and now you want, what you are targeting is all the people, all these offices and the shops inside the same building and the nearby building in the nearby complex area. So the easiest and the most result oriented, and now you instead of giving them flyers or pamphlets, what we do instead is you bring a jar full of chocolates, and or cookies, these biscuits, and then we go to these nearby shops in the same complex, your neighbor shop, or the first time shop, and you simply drop in and say, hi, I'm Praval Adish. I started the new office in the nearby, and I just dropped in and to say you hi. And here are some chocolates and cookies. Would you like to have some? And just decided to have a chat. Who are you, wonderful people, and what are you doing in my what are the lines of business you are doing? Uh, so have some neighborhood friendly connections. This is much more result oriented strategy than an aggressive handing over the pamphlets or a flyer to all your neighborhood shops, offices, and expecting them to come business with you. Because one, there are hundreds and thousands of such pamphlets and coming in, and what we all do, we simply put it inside the dustbin. That's directly salesy and pushy, right? There is no connection. The other person doesn't know you. The other person doesn't like you. The other person doesn't trust you. And you don't know him. You don't know whether it's a right fit or not. So that why waste? So that before actually someone comes to you and purchase from you, there is a something called no like trust cycle, and this thing is very effectively connected if you go come with me using this approach of buying buying a lot of chocolates and eclairs, type of things, and cookies uh, inside a jar or small boxes, and then just walking into your neighbor shops, on the first floor, on the ground floor, third floor, and dropping in and say, hi, I'm just started a new shop in the neighborhood, and I was just wondering who are you wonderful people in my neighborhood, and what kind of business you do, and here are some chocolates and toffees and all these biscuit cookies for you, and if you are interested, and just dropped in to say a friendly hi. That is a great starter, an icebreaker, an ability to connect with your neighbors, neighboring shops, neighboring offices in your local area. At the same time, you are not being salesy and pushy with a pamphlet and flyer that, hey, this is my business, come to my business and buy from me. No, you are instead giving them chocolates, toffees, something handy. So you are on the giving side of the equation. You are being friendly and approachable. One thing very important when you actually implement this, because when I actually have implemented, there were times in my last 40, I'm like 44, last up 44 years of ups and downs, there were times when I was using this strategy as a salesy approach and as a way to talk to the person and then eventually started being pushing them to sell my product. There were times like that, but when you practically implement, just go with an attitude that you want to know that neighbors and connections with a friendly, is it the right fit? Will you be safe and comfortable talking to them? Don't even think that he's going to buy from you. Don't go with the expectation that he's going to buy from you. Go with the expectation that you got to know him, spend 5-10 minutes together, 3 4 5 minutes, say a friendly hi, develop a connection, get to know what his line of business is, not your line of business, what you are selling, but what his line of business is, what he do, who's the owner, is the manager sits inside the office shop, or is the owner himself sits inside the office, is it a family led business, or is the owner and his wife, spouse, kids, owner and his kids both sit inside the shop, or is that like the owner is a young chap and his spouse works on in some job related office, and his kids goes to the school and in the neighborhood itself. So just this kind of friendly get to know the neighbor and neighbor connection, and develop a connection with them. Ask them what lines of business they are in, not what you are in, and that is where you actually connect with them naturally. When you are going to talk like this, the neighbor, if I'm your neighbor approaching you, hi, I just dropped in to say you a friendly hi, and these are some chocolates and toffees for you. Would you like to have them? If you are a neighbor, what out of courtesy you will say, oh, thank you very much, blah blah blah. And naturally the next question I will ask you is, what line of business you are? It is an interesting shop that you have. What all things you do sell? This is interesting. What all things you do have? I will keep it in mind. Something like that. So now you get to know about his lines of business, not about your lines of business, what you are selling. In that same 5-10 minutes, the other person now is interested to talk about himself, your neighbors, your friend. Now, by naturally, when you initiate the talk like this, the other person is eventually going to ask, oh, you just shifted in during this conversation of 5-10 minutes. What kind of work you do? Fine. I've just started an office. I run a small restaurant. I'm a doctor. I'm a dentist. I started with a clinic. I'm an accountant. I started with an accounting offices in the neighborhood, in the ground. I'm a digital marketing guy, or XYZ, whatever, right? I started with our office here. At the same time here, do not sell. If you need me, then come. He automatically knows that if he needs you, he can come to you. Or just have a very soft suggestion. If you or your friends need me, then you can contact me. Never ever put in a salesy offer type thing, like you have a pamphlet or buy now sort of thing. It's a friendly connection where you are going to get to know him. Drop with him, ask him questions about his lines of business, get to know about him, talk less and let him speak more. So ask him some open-ended question so that he talks more. Eventually, during these conversations, he's going to ask you in that 5-10 minutes talk. He's going to ask you like what line of business you are. You started new. What office you have. What do you do? And that is the time when you have to softly suggest that okay, I've started a dental clinic, or I'm an accountant. I've started a restaurant. If you or your friend needs me, then you're welcome. That is the time. And then as per the whatever talks goes on for that 5-10-12 minutes, then you move towards the next shop and third shop and third office inside the same building, campus area, or the neighborhood building. And you, if you are starting new or in a new location you are starting, then probably spending 1.5 hour 2 hours is one of the easiest ways. So the time management angle of this is another very important thing. The time management angle is, most people start and try to do it all of a sudden in one day. That is actually a good way if you can manage that much time. But if you are already having some work and you cannot manage all of a sudden cover all of the people in 1 or 2 days, the second approach is every day 1 hour, 1.5 hour, and in every week there will be some slow moving days or dull days of the week when the less customers are walking in. And so for a hotel restaurant industry, it's the mid of the week where less people are actually giving them order, and the end of the weekends are the most busiest time. So these dull days of the week, you can squeeze out 2 hours, 1.5 hour, 3 hours for this kind of activities. But mostly if you are starting new, one of the most effective ways you can spend 3 or 4 hours, 5 hours, up to 4 or 5 hours per day for in the initial 3 4 5 days to get a hang about it, get connected and a friendly chat, hi hello, with the same toffees, chocolates. uh, uh, Hi, I'm so and so. Just started a new shop in the neighborhood and just dropped in to say you hi. Would you like to have some toffees, chocolates? Something like that. Something friendly to start with and develop, get to know about that person instead of being putting in a salesy promotional pamphlet or flyer, which never work. The pamphlet flyer will never work because the other person doesn't know you, he doesn't like you, he doesn't know whether he can trust you. Forget about buying about it. And another very important thing is the time management angle. This practical activity doesn't take very long time, right? But it is again, it is completely free as compared to the costly pamphlets and no result guarantee. Having certain chocolate toffees and certain biscuits is very much Indian way of bringing the Indian sweets sort of thing when we start new. But I normally recommend toffee chocolates instead of and small biscuits and cookies rather than Indian sweets because toffee and chocolates because in most people are nowadays very diabetic, so Indian sweets people like to avoid. But the same toffee and chocolates is a small toffee or a small chocolate eclair, they might keep it, might not eat, might be for their kids. And that is something easy to actually, if it's an Indian sweet, particularly say Indian Bengali sweet, it will have a vicious it will have a liquid which will dropping in, so it have to be eaten immediately, and it's very sweet. So for not for a diabetic person, so for this kind of thing it's very handy to have a jar full of or have a of toffees, chocolates, and approach them. So some people you are doing it in 1.5 hour, then you still have the jar toffees, chocolates left, so next day you can actually go with the same thing. This approach doesn't cost any money. There's, I mean, other than this toffee chocolate thing, but as compared to the marketing, the distribution and the printing of the pamphlets that is concerned, when there is no guarantee of results in terms of pamphlets, this approach is going to give you a definite connections, a closeness, openness, and much more result guarantee uh, as compared to the pamphlet flyer strategy. So if you like this approach and if you like these kind of ideas, these kind of marketing strategies, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and you can buy my courses. I'm Praval Dadish Advait Sharma. I've adopted and I'm the author of author, creator, and of zero cost ethical marketing for doctors, and I'm nowadays consulting mostly all other lines of businesses, all other industries, the non-medical industries, all professionals on using zero cost ethical ways or zero cost ethical marketing, those small free things, lowest cost things, which will give much more result and much more effectivity. And most of these are free in the right way, right timing, right frequency. And the idea of entire zero cost ethical marketing is we want to use all the free things that is available, like a full body CT scan across 10 different aspects of running a business setup, like a full body CT scan, wherever, whatever free things that is we are available, and increase the revenues, sales, customers by 20%, and another 10 to 15% extra free time, because things get more organized and the unnecessary stuff and the mistakes that we were doing is completely cleared out. The misconception, the perception that we had is cleared out. Like in this case, was the perception, I should start printing and distribution pamphlets and flyers, which and expect customers coming in. This will not work. But this kind of approach, another approach that I'm told you in this strategy, is much more result oriented, much more guaranteed, and much more productive, and developing a genuine personal connection with your neighbors in your local area, in your surrounding, with the connectivity, right? Thank you very much for your wonderful time. Hope this was interesting.